So we talked earlier about all the stunts that the Lib Dems are doing. Let's just talk. So they obviously can't get away from the stunts. But on the left-hand side there, you can see the headline. Ed Davey, the Lib Dem leader, pledges to rejoin the single market and give the NHS £9 billion. So let's have a look. So this is the actual grist of it, right? For the Lib Dems, this is what they're about. Let's have a look at the EU clip first.
Fixing our broken relationship with Europe. Rebuilding the ties of trade and friendship, boosting our economy and restoring Britain's role on the world stage.
So it's interesting because their manifesto to me suggested something a bit more than that, but he's just, we're going to go and give them some smiles.
But what's interesting about this is that the Lib Dems have had a lot of criticism for kind of really avoiding Brexit. Like a lot of the main parties, nobody wants to relitigate Brexit. But of course, the Lib Dems were the party of Brexit. When you look back to that 2019 general election campaign, where they did really badly, they had quite a provocative slogan, which was the B word to Brexit. And in fact, Joe Swinson, their leader, came out and said, if we win the election, we're going to reverse Brexit. We're going to sort of rip it all up. And they've been very the Liberal Democrats have had an interesting strategy. They've not actually talked very much about policy. They've kept quite a low profile. And then they've come out right now and they've gone back to the B word, which I think is quite interesting because the two other parties are getting quite a lot of criticism. Like Labour's getting quite a lot of criticism for never mentioning Brexit. Like Keir Starmer doesn't want to go anywhere near Brexit. So I think this is quite interesting. And some of those seats they're trying to win, those sort of blue wall seats, Surrey, they were quite big Remain areas. So, maybe
and
they're
also things are maybe shifting a bit more towards Remain. People are thinking this hasn't worked well. Older people, sadly, are dying. James.
Yeah, I think because obviously the Brexit thing, we're all sold apart in terms of what was actually going to happen, and a lot of the promises kind of disappeared. And I think a lot of independent business owners, small business owners have found a nightmare with importation, sending things abroad, getting things into Europe, and the fees and the costs and the drama. And I think the people who kind of very naively thought they were going to round up anyone that they didn't look like them and put them on a boat and send them home with that belief system. You saw at the time in these kind of sort of smaller, especially seaside areas, were kind of very eager to, immigration was killing us as opposed to automation and AI and all the other bits and pieces that are far more prevalent. And we've also seen the food and beverage industry having an absolute nightmare because all the hard-working employees that are now not available to work, everyone else having to do the jobs that no one else wanted to. So people want to get rid of them.
But Aisha did make the point that they got 11 seats in the last general election because arguably they decided what
I'm saying is I think it's a good policy because I think there's a lot of people who are sick of it. I don't know how they think they're going to do it.
But the last election they tried it. It didn't work.
Wow.
But maybe it's because
things have changed.
I think time. I think what's interesting with the Brexit thing, you almost have to be driven where the public mood is. And if you now poll even leavers who really did care about leaving the EU, to your point, James, they're a bit like, no, this is not quite what we were sold.
Farage says it hasn't. Farage says certainly it hasn't worked.
It's taken this long to get half the stuff to fruition. So all the policies and bits, by the last election, half the stuff hadn't even been ironed out. We're now seeing all the politics and all the bits around, kind of, as I said, how to do small businesses abroad. I think now people are going, wow. So I don't think it's I don't think they're going to win. I don't think it's going to change the dial completely, but I think it's definitely a brave move.
Yes or no, in 50 years, will we be back in the EU?
I'm not sure.
Really?
I'm genuinely not sure.
Fall apart.
I think we might. Well, just look at what's happened to some of the elections. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think we will because I think the rest of Europe's going to. I think we're going to be at war. I think we'll.
Really?
I think it's going to be a night. I think it'll be Armageddon. I don't know. We'll
Another
live
way
in a
I can say
bunker.
yes, no to both of you, and you give me like.
Sorry, no.
You come out with the Third World War.
What's going to happen?
Armageddon.
Armageddon. Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay, there's another clip I just want to play. This is about Ed Davey hiring more GPs.
Giving everyone the right to see a GP within 7 days or within 24 hours if it's urgent, and recruiting the extra doctors needed to make it happen. Improving access to dentists and pharmacists too, because we understand that if more people can get the early care they need locally, fewer people will end up in hospital in the first place.
Okay,